This video is brought to you by Sporlan, quality, integrity, and tradition. Today we have a bar AC that is not cooling properly, the customer says. The condenser visually looks to be somewhat clean. The inside, yeah, a little dirty, but nothing. I don't think it's that bad, but we'll see once we actually check the system out. Let's come on over here, see what this guy has to say in here. So there's no demand at the moment. Enter menu, service data, history. Okay, this is gonna be hard for you guys to see because the camera doesn't show it very well. Has something to do with the refresh rate. I'm going through alarms. It says wait at the moment. This is Prodigy 1. Prodigy 1's a pain. 722, that was yesterday. Compressor 1, high pressure or temp, S4. Looks like the same thing yesterday. It looks like it's going to be all high pressure stuff. Let's see. Comp 1, yeah. So we've got high pressure codes on compressor number 1. So what we need to do is fire this unit up and test to see what's going on here. Looks like the bird screens are filthy. So definitely need to clean the bird screens. That'll help with makeup air for the building. I did notice the building balance was a little negative when I walked in the door. There could be a problem with the makeup air unit too. Okay. So we got that. Let's go visually inspect the condenser fan motor, see if it's like an obvious bad condenser fan motor or something. Okay, so they're not running at the moment. That one free spins. Doesn't mean it's not bad, but it free spins. We're just looking for obvious. You hear that? Got a bad condenser fan motor. Okay, it's got bad bearings in it. So let me make some calls because I have another technician coming here right now to bring filters to do a filter change. So if I can intercept him, I can have him grab a condenser fan motor on his way. See this guy, I turned the unit off. Definitely bad bearings. And you go the other way and it's locking up. And then this way, rough. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna start pulling this motor out. All right, this is we got motor and blade for this guy. Now as I'm pulling this out, these things are crackling and breaking, so don't be that guy that just leaves them broken. I put them on and they were fine, but then when I went to go put it down in, they started cracking. So we're gonna go ahead and change all those connectors real quick and then get this guy installed the rest of the way. There's no manual that I could see in here, so I don't know which capacitor is which. So all that I did was pulled the pink wire off of the motor that I didn't change and grounded it out, and then we're just toning out. Now I already checked the other capacitor and we had no resistance to ground, but this one we do. Therefore, this is not the capacitor that I want to change. That is the capacitor that I want to change. But I went ahead and checked the microfarads of this one. It's correct, so we're good to go on that. All right, I went downstairs and I turned it on from the thermostat. Power's back and restored. Now I can do test from up here. I can put it in test mode, but you're not testing the function of the thermostat too. So by doing it downstairs, I should get a Y1, Y2 call, and I'm testing the whole system, making sure that there's not a problem with the thermostat also. All right, now we have a call for Y1 and Y2. Maybe you guys can see. There you go. Y1, Y2, occupied, and G. So now that we have that compressor's running. That compressor's running. Both compressors are running. Let's go over here. Condenser fan motor's moving air. Condenser fan motor's moving air. Both condenser fan motors are running. I'm gonna go ahead and set up all my probes, profile the system, and evaluate the refrigerant circuit. All right, we are all probed up and it has been running for a while. This is a 410A system. It's a 10-ton unit. Subcooling, we're getting discharge pressure, so subcooling is gonna be a hair on the high side because discharge the liquid pressure, there'll be a pressure drop. Let's go ahead and scroll over to second stage. superheat's a little bit lower, but it looks like it's doing about the same thing. Second stage too. We're within reason. Let's scroll over and look at our temperature differential. 21 degree temperature differential from return to supply. Airflow looks to be maybe just a little bit on the low side, but not too bad. Delivered capacity, we're right on the money. We're expected to have 108, and right now we're delivering 117,000 BTUs. For everybody that's curious, this app is called Measure Quick. I have no affiliation with them. It's connected to my Fieldpiece JobLink probes. You can also use the JobLink app, but Measure Quick gives you a few more details that the Fieldpiece app doesn't. Yeah, and it's just an app that I use just to consolidate data. There is troubleshooting too. I don't really use that. If you click up here, you could look up Measure Quick. I'm sure they've got all kinds of videos and stuff they could help you with, but it's just an app. Again, no affiliation. I'm not promoting them or anything. This thing's working. I mean, outdoor ambience about 80, almost 90 degrees right now. It's 9 a.m. So yeah, this thing's kicking. I think that we just had a bad condenser fan motor causing the unit to go off on high pressure. I went ahead and changed that. Everything seems to be good, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up, tell the customer to keep an eye on it. I'm going to go ahead and clean all the metal mesh filters really quick so that way we get some makeup air in this building. We also have an actual makeup air unit over there, but we rely off of these too, so we want these to be cleaned. Yeah, and then my guy is actually coming back. He just brought me the motors, but he's going to get filters right now. He's going to come back and change all the building filters right now because they're about due. And yeah, that's it. I'm not really seeing anything else, so I'm going to leave this unit running for a little bit longer. When I walk out to these jobs, you know, I kind of get into a pretty good routine in my head. Oftentimes, I forget to really elaborate on what I'm doing and why I'm doing. So I've been trying to make a better effort when I am making a video to consciously spend a little more time to make sure that, you know, I'm explaining a few things. One of the most common questions I get is, what's the app that I'm using? What's that app? What's that app? As I mentioned in the video, it's called Measure Quick. No affiliation. I'm not paid by them. None of that stuff, okay? I just happen to like the app because it consolidates data. It does a lot more than that, right? And I don't use it to its fullest potential. I just use it for what I want to do, okay? I love that it puts all the information at my fingertips right on one screen or a couple screens. Within a couple screens, I can swipe over, see everything that I need to see, so that way my head can go ahead and diagnose things. But to be fair, the app does have diagnostics built in. It helps you to diagnose things. I will say that it's not really suited as much towards commercial work, and it's not suited as much towards refrigeration work. Even though there is a refrigeration mode, it's really tailored and designed for residential air conditioning. It would definitely help you succeed as a residential service tech if you implement all the stuff that it has. It has a lot of potential. That's just one of those things, right? I was using the Fieldpiece JobLink probes. Those are something that I use quite often instead of manifold gauge sets. You'll notice that I use them on package units all day long because it really makes it easy to diagnose and evaluate refrigeration systems, especially with the JobLink probes when you're using core depressors. It just basically barely lets out any gas, so that way you're not, when you take gauge hoses off, there's extra refrigerant you can't get out. You don't really have to deal with that as much when you're using probes if you use core depressors, okay? If you're interested in the Measure Quick the Fieldpiece JobLink probes, you can find them at TrueTechTools.com, which is I have an affiliate program set up with them. So if you use my offer code BIGPICTURE, one word, you get an 8% discount at checkout. I get a small commission from that. There's a few things the discount code doesn't apply to, but it's a great way to help support the channel if you're interested in doing so. Now, I talk about all the time looking at the big picture, going the extra mile. Again, one of those things is I don't necessarily always vocally explain everything that's going on inside my brain. Oftentimes it's firing in a million different directions. My employees can attest to that because they'll ask me a question and I'm like, just already have everything figured out way before I even get to the point that that I'm at. I overthink everything and I try to get it all out, like I said in the beginning, but sometimes it just, doesn't come out completely, right? But I am not a perfect service technician, nor will I ever be. I'm not the best. I don't claim to be. I'm just a guy that's made a lot of mistakes, and I try to share the little bit of knowledge that I have with you so that way maybe you don't make those same mistakes, right? Little things.
I talked about the little wire connectors. So much can go so far as a technician, just thinking about it. And it's like, hey, instead of just shoving those on and having a potential point where someone can get shocked, why not just replace them, right? It's not even just someone getting shocked. Maybe it can short out. Who knows? Just replace them, right? It's 4 little or 3 little connectors. It's not even a big deal. Like, just cut them, strip them, crimp them, and move on, right? Always think about that kind of stuff. And then at the same time too, just because we found a bad condenser fan motor doesn't mean that I don't put my gauges on it, right? I'm going to go ahead and evaluate the system. I'm using smart probes, so it's minimal loss. I'm not contaminating the system. Take the time. There was only a high pressure code on one of the circuits, but I looked at them both, right? We're taking the time. We're doing things as best as possible within reason. I understand sometimes you got to spend a little less time because you're super slammed or something like that, but just do your best, right? Take the time, do it right, give the customer value. I can't stress that enough. I get so many people asking me, how do I get new customers? How do I grow my company? All this stuff. I'm not the person to answer those questions. I really am not. But I will tell you the one thing that I do is I think of the customer as my own family, right? I have to make money. I have to be profitable. But at the same time, if my customer's happy, then they keep calling me back, right? I don't want to go there and just make a quick buck off of them. I want to work for that customer for 20, 30 years, right? Being honest, because stuff's going to break. It's inevitable. It's going to break. We as technicians don't have to be shady. We don't have to recommend things just because our company gives us an incentive or anything like that. Don't be that guy. Be the guy that the customer wants. I'll tell you stories upon stories of technicians that I've heard. I just saw a post yesterday, where a technician said he worked for a company and he left that company and he had built a great relationship with the customers. And it's been about 2 years, and guess what? He started working for that customer at his new company now because they remembered him and they searched him out and they found him at the new company. Okay? Being that technician, being the guy that's willing to, treat the customer like their family is going to go a long way, right? Building trust, honesty, and make money the honest way. That's the most important thing we can do as technicians. Don't be the guy that's out there trying to sell contactors, trying to sell capacitors, trying to sell all this crap just because you're going to get a gift card at the end of the month from your company, okay? Be the guy that the customer says, when they call your company, they say, hey, I want Chris to come out. He was here last time. He did me right. I want him to come out again, right? Now, as a business owner, that gets a little frustrating, but at the same time, I'm thankful because the customer likes that employee, right? So as a business owner, I have to look at it as I want the customer to be happy with every one of my employees. And so that's a constant battle to make sure that the relationships are strong. And that's another thing too. There's a lot that goes into a relationship with the customer. The way that you communicate with them. Do you just get there and say, hey, I'm here to fix it, move on and walk away and not have a conversation? I encourage my employees as much as possible, walk in, go shake the manager's hand, ask him how he's doing. Make casual conversation with them. I don't care if I got to eat 15 minutes for you to have a good conversation with the manager because you're building a relationship. That's easy money for me, well spent. I'd rather pay my technician because I'm not going to bill my customer for the time that my technician was standing there BSing. So I encourage my guys, if you're going to spend there or sit there talking to the customer and they want to have a good conversation with you, let me know. I'll make sure you get paid and I'll make sure that the customer doesn't get billed for it. And that little bit goes a long way in building that relationship and building that trust. You like sports, you like whatever, find something in common to talk to them about and have that discussion. And then, remember that. Remember the customer's name. Look them in the eyes when you talk to them. Shake their hand. Ask them about their family, right? But don't just ask questions just to have a fake relationship. Be real, right? Connect with people. That connection, that human connection is the difference between you and the other service company, right? You want to have that relationship. You want to be a competent technician. You want to instill trust. You want to repair the customer's equipment right. Life happens. Sometimes mistakes happen. Own up to them, right? As a business, as a company, as a technician, own up to the mistakes, right? Hey, I messed that one up. I'm not going to charge you for the labor, whatever. Be right by the customer, right? Take care of them. This wasn't a crazy technical video, right? You guys saw me walk up, they said it wasn't working, had high pressure codes, you know, found a bad condenser fan motor. So sometimes you just got to think, you know, as you're going through and work your way through it, right? I really appreciate you making it to the end, right? I already mentioned going to truetech.tools.com. Use my offer code BIGPICTURE if you're interested. A couple other ways to help support the channel. You could do it via PayPal, Patreon, or YouTube channel memberships. There's links in the show notes of this video on how to do all those. You can also go to my website, hvacrvideos.com, where we have merchandise available, beanies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, all that good stuff. Another great way to help support the channel. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so very much. We will catch you on the next one.